I get it. When you're scrolling through endless mattress options, you start wondering if you're about to throw away a few $100s on something that won't actually make a difference in your sleep. A friend of mine was in that exact spot last month, stuck between a foam-only bed that always got too hot and a cheap spring mattress that never stopped squeaking when they rolled over. She asked me to break down the pros and cons before she clicked add to cart, so I dug into the details, read a handful of buyer comments, and tried to picture the mattress in a real bedroom. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Casper Snow Hybrid is marketed as a medium-feel mattress that blends memory foam with pocketed coils. What that really means in everyday life is a surface that gives you that plush sink-in feeling you get from foam, while the coils underneath keep the whole thing from feeling like a pancake. For people who switch positions a lot, say, a side sleeper who rolls onto their back or a back sleeper who likes to stretch out at night, the zone support layers aim to keep hips and shoulders properly aligned without you having to pick a side. In my own experience with a similar hybrid, that zoning felt most noticeable after a few nights of tossing and turning. The mattress seemed to cradle the heavier parts of my body while still offering enough bounce to make getting out of bed feel effortless. The biggest selling point people keep bringing up is the cooling technology. The snow part of the name isn't just a marketing tag. The top foam layer incorporates open cell structures and a breathable cover that pushes heat away from the body. If you've ever woken up feeling like you spent the night in a sauna, you'll appreciate that extra airflow. I've seen a few users say the mattress stays comfortably cool for about 6 to 8 hours, then gradually warms up a bit as the night goes on, still far better than a traditional memory foam that can trap heat until you're practically sweating. For hot sleepers, that difference can be the line between restless tossing and a solid 8 hours of undisturbed sleep. Now, motion isolation is another claim that Casper leans heavily into. The hybrid design does a decent job of dampening movement, thanks to the foam layers sandwiching the coils. In a shared bed, that usually translates to one partner rolling or getting up without waking the other. I've heard from couples who used to argue over the night owl habit that the Snow Hybrid reduced those wake-ups noticeably. It's not a completely silent system. If someone sits up quickly, it will register, but for the average night-to-night movement, the effect is subtle enough that most people won't even notice. Who should definitely consider this mattress? If you're a couple where one side tends to be a warm sleeper and the other prefers a softer feel, the hybrid's balance of cooling and medium cushioning can satisfy both. It also works well for taller folks who need consistent support along the length of the bed. The zoned layers help keep the lower back aligned without you having to buy a separate pillow top. People who have a moderate budget but still want a reputable brand with a decent warranty will also find value here, especially with the 100-night trial that lets you test the feel without committing long-term. On the flip side, there are a few situations where the Snow Hybrid might miss the mark. If you're a very firm sleeper who prefers a hardboard feel, the medium plushness could feel too sinky after a while, and you might find yourself reaching for a firmer top layer. The mattress is also on the heavier side because of the coil system, so moving it up a flight of stairs or rotating it in a tight bedroom could be a chore. Additionally, because the cover is made from a breathable fabric, it tends to wrinkle a bit after the first few weeks of use. Nothing catastrophic, but it can look a little untidy if you care about a crisp bedroom aesthetic. Lastly, while the all-night cooling works well for most, people who live in extremely cold climates might find the mattress a tad chilly in the early mornings unless they add a warm sheet or blanket. Durability is another practical point to think about. Casper advertises a decade of durability, and the mix of high-density foam with steel coils usually holds up well over time. In the reviews I skimmed, owners mentioned that after a year they still felt the same level of support, which suggests the construction isn't going to start sagging after a few months like some budget foam models. The CertiPUR-US certification also tells you the foams are free from harmful chemicals, so you won't have to worry about off-gassing that can irritate sensitive noses. If you're still on the fence, ask yourself what you value most in a mattress. Do you need a cool surface for hot summer nights? Do you share a bed and need to minimize motion transfer? Are you